So this is Sam Loke here for irishboxing.com. Delighted to be joined by Jamie Conlan. We're here at the Wood Conlan press conference in Belfast, the Europa Hotel. Jamie, thanks very much for your time, first of all. Come here, just a reaction to the press conference, first of all. It was lively. It was lively yesterday in Nottingham, but it was nice and lively. It wasn't too bad, but it was nice and lively today. Just your reaction.
I think everything was put out of the way yesterday. They didn't know how to handle us. I don't think none of them knew how to handle us. But we came into none of them with that kind of chip on our shoulder. There was no plan to say anything that we said. It was just, that's us. We were very honest, and as I stated today, I wouldn't lie if we didn't know it. That's why we can't. It's very hard to challenge anything we say because it's true. It's all the truth, and this all means very little. It's mind games, probably you can put it as, or whatever, but it can add on to slight wee percentages in the fight. In the build-up to the fight, create doubt over the next 7 weeks. There is fractured. We've fractured something there. I know, I can feel the relationship has changed, and we've definitely fractured something.
Well, that's where I wanted to go with it. Is this kind of the business in the press conference? Is it more about trying to get into their head? Is it mind games? Is it tactics? And is it fun for you guys to do this?
It's fun for Mick. I don't really like being on press conferences, and yesterday I didn't know I was going to be on the press conference. I just got raved over because it was just me and him. So he travelled up from London and I flew in from Belfast, and I got there in about 5 minutes before. Eddie had asked me to come on under the press conference with Ben, and everything we said was just winging it kind of thing, and we went off the vibe, the atmosphere that was in the room at that moment in time. Them man's arriving with a big entourage of the gym, travelling in, and sitting right in front of us, and not trying to intimidate us, but just sitting there and flexing their muscles a wee bit. So it was just a bit like, anything you do and bring to the table doesn't mean fuck all to us. So we've seen a lot worse than that.
And is that why you there was definitely that air of being quite up for it yesterday, like both yourself and Mick were kind of riled? Is that what that was? You were kind of like...
It was just us. It was us in the Land's Den. It's the approach that should be on the night. It's the approach to be on Fight Week. It's the approach to be now. It's the show. You just can't intimidate us. There'll be 9,000 whatever in the arena, and the majority is going to be of English, and none of them especially cheering on their man. But it doesn't make a difference. You can't break us, and that's what it's. Yesterday was just putting their flag out and saying we're here, and we're here for a reason, and we're here to create destiny.
So the fight's been billed as like a 50-50 fight. I want to hear your opinion on that. Like, is it a 50-50 for you, and kind of how accurate do you think that is, that billing?
I think it's right. Yeah, I would agree with it. It's a very, very tough fight. Lee Wood presents problems for Michael. Michael presents problems for Lee Wood. Lee Wood carries power. Lee Wood's a bigger fighter. He's got the longer reach. Michael has the skills, the adaptability, the experience as an amateur to come through. Lee Wood carries the experience as a professional, being in tough fights, albeit at British level. There's been vulnerabilities in Michael's game, vulnerabilities in Lee's game, and this is what we have yet to see Michael in a fight like this, and this is why I think people are going to say it's 50-50. After this, they'll realise it was never should have been billed as a 50-50, because I think the best Michael Conlan will come forward and just put on an absolute clinic. But again, he could be putting on a clinic for 10, 11 rounds, and Lee Wood carries that power, so it's something that makes it always brings a percentage back in Lee's favour, and that's what makes it so interesting and intriguing. And you can ask 10 people in a room and you'll get 5 split on who's going to win and how it's going to happen. So it's very good. It's very good. For me, this is what he needs. This is the fight he kind of needs. The fight that he's got people doubting him. He's got people saying that he's going to get knocked out. People saying he's going to hang. People really going against him and going against him in a big way. And you're going to see the best Michael Conlan out of it.
Great to hear. Fans. We're looking at a lot of fans coming over from Ireland, as far as I can tell. But Lee has apparently shifted a lot of tickets already himself. What are you expecting to bring over from Belfast and from Ireland in general to Nottingham anyway? Are we expecting a kind of a takeover, a Belfast takeover, or what's the feeling on that?
I think we'll be outnumbered, obviously, because it's his hometown. It's very easy. people from Ireland are going to have to pay are paying their hard-earned money for flights and hotels and tickets, and ticket prices aren't cheap. But the fans that are coming over will create a raucous atmosphere, a hostile atmosphere, and feel like what we'd feel like a big chip on their shoulder, and here for a reason. They're not here to be friendly. It's a fantastic away day for us, and they'll be very loud. They'll be, as I said, hostile. They'll be here. Just put their flag in the middle of none of them and state this. We have a champion. The reason that we've been following Michael's whole career is all down to this moment. So it's brilliant. It adds to that hostile kind of atmosphere. You're not, when you have a show here or whatever, and you have a lot of, very little of the away fighters. It's away fighters fans. It doesn't really feel as much. I feel it's just a home crowd, but there is no. We'll be loud. We'll be outnumbered, but we'll be loud. We'll be there for a reason, and we'll be there to take over.
Great to hear. The super title is something that really interests me. Obviously, at the moment, the belt that Lee Wood has is the WBA regular featherweight title. Of course, there is a lot of discrepancy between the super title and the regular title with the WBA in the boxing world in general. A lot of people say maybe it's not really considered a full world title, the regular title. A lot of people would. Some people might say it depends on the fight, it depends on who was beaten for the title, etc, etc.
Creates confusion.
Yeah, a lot of confusion. So what's your feeling on that in general, and then also what's the likelihood of getting the super title on the line?
Eddie's very confident, and I think logically everyone should be very confident. Santa Cruz is going to fight in February. It's super feather, so I assume then that becomes the vacant. Lee Wood is the man. He is the man in the WBA. The man who beat the man. Kanzu was the man.
And is that it? Is that what makes
for
it
us?
a
legit world title.
Yeah.
Anyone says it, they'll slap him in the mouth. That's how I feel. This is a world title. It will be for the quote-unquote super world title. But I think whoever wins this is world champion, and you can never deny them that fact.
Yeah, fair. And that's where that comes in, isn't it? It's about who beats who and stuff. The whole thing with the WBA, like Leo Santa Cruz, as far as I'm aware, hasn't defended that belt or fought with that belt on the line in about 3 years. A comment on that? Like the WBA not forcing him to defend, not already stripping him, and as far as I'm aware, they gave him the option for his next fight to be for the featherweight title that he still owns.
I'm unsure. I'm not really caught up in the full ins and outs of it. I think Leo had notified the WBA that he will be still competing at 126, but we're going to have proof in February that he's not. So I think it's the right thing to do, and it'll be, they'll be getting chastised and criticised if they don't. And Hearn is very, very vocal, so he'll be the one pushing it through because this fight doesn't need confusion. It deserves clarity. It deserves the right to be calling each other world champions. So that's what it needs.
Should the WBA get rid of the regular title or the super title and just have one title?
I think they're trying to do that. From what I've gathered, they've been very good on it. When we got into the position, because Mick had won an interim title because it hadn't been defended, and we were supposed to then fight Leo Santa Cruz and all this kind of stuff. But they got rid of that and made Mick and Wood mandatory with the aspect of being the super champion. So, I think they're doing it. I think they have listened to people, and they're trying to clean up the belts, and rightfully so. So
there was a comment made that Ben Davison feels that Lee Wood is the hardest punching featherweight in the world. He's a huge puncher, obvious for everyone to see, but it's a big statement. What do you think? What do you think of that? And what's your opinion on it?
It's a big statement, so he's got a lot to back up. So I don't think he would make that statement if Lee wasn't in and around that. So it's it makes it all sweeter. You're not beating someone who isn't classed as the best punching featherweight in the world. So you're beating someone who has that tag. Everyone has. I think they said something similar to Quake when Quake fought Frampton. Quake was stronger. He had the physical strength. He was the one going to get him late after Frampton nicked the rounds. It has all the same dynamics, every same dynamics. The pantomime villain and the coach. Frampton being, or us being the B side, Hearn being the A side. His promotion, us travelling, has all the dynamics. And the WBA super title was on the line then as well. And Quigg was elevated to the super champion. I think the way Lee is going too. So everything is just similar, very similar. So it's, it works in our favour in that regard. But these are two different fighters than Frampton and Quigg. These possess different attributes than Frampton and Quigg. And that's where kind of the comparison stop is in the in the rating. So this is a fantastic fight. Lee is highly regarded as the biggest punching featherweight in the world. But if Michael beats the biggest punching featherweight in the world, what a statement, what a testament that is to Michael Conlan.
Yeah, 100%. You're not probably going to want to talk too much on this, but it is very interesting in terms of the landscape. We have Josh Warrington fighting Kiko Martinez for the IBF belt, the IBF featherweight belt. If Mick comes through, is that the direct target, the unification with the winner of Martinez and Warrington?
Logically that's the right move. That's the next step. It is, as you said, he has to beat Lee Wood, which I think is a harder fight than them two at this moment in time. Both of them at the tail end of their careers, and Warrington still possesses an engine and Kiko still possesses power, but both can be outboxed and outfought. And I think Warrington after Lara it'll be interesting to see what the looks is in that fight, if I'm being honest. Warrington a few years ago was phenomenal riding the crest of a wave, but he hasn't won in his last 3 fights or so. So it's an interesting fight, really interesting fight. I have a lot of respect for Kiko. We brought him in for sparring with Michael, so we get on personally. Him and Michael have a great relationship. Him and my father have a great relationship. So it's very interesting, but doesn't make a difference. No, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Lee Wood, Michael Conlan is the fight, and it's the only fight that matters.
100%. Very last one for you, Jamie. Conlan Boxing, kind of up and running now. Had your second show in the Ulster Hall a few months back. Any kind of any news about the next show, or when are you looking to get guys out and get another show on?
We are looking at a show in April in the Ulster Hall or the Waterfront Hall. We're just waiting on availability. We were originally looking at March, but we couldn't get an available date to go with the ESPN's dates. There was a lot of clashes, but we're looking at April. We're just waiting on hearing back maybe today or tomorrow on availability on a date. And our 2 signings, Kurt Walker and Kieran Malloy, I'll say it, will make their debuts on February 26th on Josh Taylor versus Jack Catchell in Glasgow, which would be great to see. Basically home fights for them, and they've got great numbers for tickets coming over, both live on Sky Sports as part of the deal when we sign with Top Rank, and very excited about the process and how they're going to go through and develop as pros, because both were exceptional amateurs. Big steps moving into the pro game, and moving away from home. Both of them have went to Adam Booth and Angel Fernandez respectfully. Spoke with Kieran, met with Kieran yesterday. He was at the press conference, and Kurt was at the press conference also. Just getting a bit of feedback on the sparring. We're going to go over and watch some sparring in the next week or two. But we're looking at opponents for both of them now, and I'm very excited. It'll be hopefully 2 fights in 2 months for both of them. We're looking again in March in the UK. But very, very excited. This is I think two of the new crop of fighters coming through that can really revive a generation, especially in Galway. Boxing in Galway. When we done the press conference with Kieran Malloy, I think they're starved for fighters and nights, big nights, and I think we can bring it with Kieran Malloy. I definitely do, and we have the backing of Top Rank who are saying, we can go to Galway, we can do stuff in there, we can come to Ireland, we can do all that. So it's exciting times ahead. But first one out of the way, I explained to both of them, it's the one you don't forget, your first one, and you don't forget a world title fight. Every other one, just you run through it, because this is so new, and there'll be a lot of nerves, a lot of jitters, and so on and so forth. So it's very exciting. February 26th, Glasgow, Hedgehoe Arena. Both lads coming out 6 rounds each, so good to see.
Absolutely excellent. Jamie, I'm going to leave it there. Sam Logue here for irishboxing.com with Jamie Conlan. Thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, Sam. Thanks very much.